A wine bottle is a bottle used for holding wine, generally made of glass. Some wines are fermented in the bottle, others are bottled only after fermentation. Recently, the bottle has become a standard unit of volume to describe sales in the wine industry, measuring 750 milliliters. However, bottles are produced in a variety of volumes and shapes. Wine bottles are traditionally sealed with cork, but screw-top caps are becoming popular, and there are several other methods used to seal a bottle. Sizes. Many traditional wine bottle sizes are named for biblical kings and historical figures. The chart below lists the sizes of various wine bottles in multiples relating to a standard bottle of wine, which is 0.75 liters. The wine glassful, an official unit of the apothecary's system of weights, is much smaller at 2.5 imp Floridas. Most champagne houses are unable to carry out secondary fermentation in bottles larger than a magnum due to the difficulty in riddling large, heavy bottles. After the secondary fermentation completes, the champagne must be transferred from the magnums into larger bottles, which results in a loss of pressure. Some believe this rebottling exposes the champagne to greater oxidation and therefore results in an inferior product compared to champagne which remains in the bottle in which it was fermented. For many years, the U.S. standard wine and liquor bottle was the fifth, meaning 1/5 of a U.S. gallon, or 25.6 U.S. fluid ounces. Some beverages also came in 10th gallon, half-gallon and 1-gallon sizes. In 1979, the U.S. adopted the metric system for wine bottles, with the basic bottle becoming 750 milliliters, as in Europe. Shapes. Wine producers in Portugal, Italy, Spain, France and Germany follow the tradition of their local areas in choosing the shape of bottle most appropriate for their wine. Port, sherry, and Bordeaux varieties. Straight-sided and high-shouldered with a pronounced punt. Port and sherry bottles may have a bulbous neck to collect any residue. Burgundies and Rhone varieties. Tall bottles with sloping shoulders and a smaller punt. Schlegel variety, predominantly used in German wine-growing regions. Similar to Burgundy bottles, but more slender and elongated. Rhine, Mosel, and Alsace varieties. Narrow and tall with little or no punt. Champagne and other sparkling wines. Thick-walled and wide with a pronounced punt and sloping shoulders. German wines from Franconia. The box butyl bottle. The Chianti and some other Italian wines. The Fiasco, a round-bottomed flask encased in a straw basket. This is more often used for everyday table wines. Many of the higher-grade Chianti producers have switched to Bordeaux-type bottles. Many North and South American, South African, and Australasian wine producers select the bottle shape with which they wish to associate their wines. For instance, a producer who believes his wine is similar to Burgundy may choose to bottle his wine in Burgundy-style bottles. Other producers have chosen idiosyncratic bottle styles for marketing purposes. Père Anselme markets its Châteauneuf du Pape in bottles that appear half-melted. The Mosellen Company of Germany has a Riesling with a bottle in the shape of a house cat. The home winemaker may use any bottle, as the shape of the bottle does not affect the taste of the finished product. The sole exception is in producing sparkling wine, where thicker-walled bottles should be used to handle the excess pressure. Most wine bottles standards have a bore diameter of 18.5 at the mouth of the bottle and increase to 21 mm before expanding into the full bottle. A basic 750 ml bottle in the Bordeaux style of Pinot Noir Rosé wine. Side-by-side comparison of various sizes of champagne bottles, on a ladder. Magnum, full, half, and quarter, on the floor. Balthazar, Salmanazar, Methuselah, and Jeroboam. Box butyl-shaped wine bottle. Burgundy bottles. Colors. The traditional colors used for wine bottles are Bordeaux, dark green for reds, light green for dry whites, colorless for sweet whites. Burgundy and the Rhône, dark green. Moselle and Alsace, dark to medium green, although some producers have traditionally used amber. Rhine, amber, although some producers have traditionally used green. Champagne, usually dark to medium green. Rosé champagnes are usually a colorless or green. Clear colorless bottles have recently become popular with white wine producers in many countries, including Greece, Canada and New Zealand. Dark-colored bottles are most commonly used for red wines, but many white wines also still come in dark green bottles. The main reason for using colored or tinted glass is that natural sunlight can break down desirable antioxidants such as vitamin C and tannins in a wine over time, which affects storability and can cause a wine to prematurely oxidize. Dark glass can prevent oxidation and increase storage life. It is therefore mostly ready-to-drink white wines with a short anticipated storage lifespan which are bottled in clear colorless bottles. Foils. Commercial corked wine bottles typically have a protective sleeve called a foil covering the top of the bottle, the purpose of which is to protect the cork from being gnawed away by rodents or infested with the cork weevil and to serve as collar to catch small drips when pouring. The foil also serves as a decorative element of the bottle's label. Foils were historically made of lead, however, because of research showing that trace amounts of toxic lead could remain on the lip of the bottle and mix with the poured wine. Lead foil bottle neck wrapping were slowly phased out, and by the 1990s, most foils were made of tin, heat-shrink plastic, or aluminium or polylaminate aluminium. Sealing wax is sometimes used, or the foil can be omitted entirely. In the US, the FDA officially banned lead foils on domestic and imported wine bottles as of 1996. Some bottles of wine have a paper strip beneath the foil, as a seal of authenticity, which must be broken before the bottle can be uncorked. Punts. A punt, also known as a kick-up, refers to the dimple at the bottom of a wine bottle. There is no consensus explanation for its purpose. The more commonly cited explanations include, it is a historical remnant from the era when wine bottles were free-blown using a blowpipe and pontle. This technique leaves a punt mark on the base of the bottle, by indenting the point where the pontle is attached. This scar would not scratch the table or make the bottle unstable. It had the function of making the bottle less likely to topple over. A bottle designed with a flat bottom only needs a small imperfection to make it unstable. The dimple historically allowed for a larger margin of error. It consolidates sediment deposits in a thick ring at the bottom of the bottle, preventing most of it from being poured into the glass. This may be more historical than a functional attribute. Since most modern wines contain little or no sediment, it increases the strength of the bottle, allowing it to hold the high pressure of sparkling wine, champagne. It provides a grip for riddling a bottle of sparkling wine manually in the traditional champagne production process. It consumes some volume of the bottle, allowing the bottle to appear larger for the same amount of wine, which may impress the purchaser. Taverns had a steel pin set vertically in the bar. The empty bottle would be thrust bottom end down onto this pin, puncturing a hole in the top of the punt, guaranteeing the bottle could not be refilled. Folklore. It prevents the bottle from resonating as easily, decreasing the likelihood of shattering during transportation. It allows bottles to be more easily stacked end to end. Bottles could be stacked in cargo holds on ships without rolling around and breaking. It makes the bottle easier to clean prior to filling with wine. Environmental impact. Glass retains its color on recycling, and the United Kingdom has a large surplus of green glass because it imports a large quantity of wine but produces very little. 1.4 million tons are sent to landfill annually. Glass is a relatively heavy packing material and wine bottles use quite thick glass, so the tare weight of a full wine bottle is a relatively high proportion of its gross weight. The average weight of an empty 750 ml wine bottle is 500 grams, which makes the glass 40% of the total weight of the full bottle. This has led to suggestions that wine should be exported in bulk from producer regions and bottled close to the market. This would reduce the cost of transportation and its carbon footprint, and provide a local market for recycled green glass. Less radically, boxed wine is sold in large-size light, cardboard and foil containers, though its use has been restricted to cheaper products in the past and as such retains a stigma. Following declining sales of wine boxes in the UK, in 2009 the Office for National Statistics removed them from its Consumer Price Index measure of inflation. Some wine producers are exploring more alternative packagings such as plastic bottles and Tetra Paks.